How you doing? Should be all good and ready to go. Okay. Today's live stream is about there's no cheat codes for getting rid of the alcohol. Cheat code is I heard somebody saying it to me recently about, they were talking about heroin, and the way that the heroin was a cheat code for them in their lives, that they used it to get a buzz or to find some places in their lives. I've heard people talking about it in the past in terms of taking LSD or mushrooms or stuff like that. Hold on. Perfect. As a cheat code, it's a way of getting into the deepest parts of your brain and pushing yourself to a different level. I've taken mushrooms and I've taken LSD, I've taken all sorts of stuff, and it's a cheat code for getting out of life for me. Alcohol is a cheat code. I used to use it to push myself forwards into a state of mind that I didn't want to think about stuff. If I want to solve problems, you just take the alcohol, you take the drug, you put yourself into a position where you don't have to think about these things anymore. But it's one of the problems about a cheat code is that it doesn't work. It's a shortcut. It might work in a game, but it doesn't work in real life. I think anything like this, any search for a magic pill, is only ever going to bring you into a place where you're going to get into disappointment at the least, and big trouble, down the line. With one of we're talking about that in one of our sessions earlier about the when you really start to move into this and you're drinking at that, you start drinking, the damage isn't that great, and you get over it very quickly because you're young, your body is young, you're capable of dealing with all the crap that is thrown your way because of alcohol. There's a lot of stuff when you start drinking when you first put alcohol inside your body, which is your body working, and it's your body is designed to create a certain amount of chaos in your life, to create a certain amount of negativity. I remember the room spinning around was one of the worst things, when you were that drunk where you couldn't keep everything still. I hated that. I hated the vomiting. I hated, all of the nasty times of alcohol. I remember the first time I drank a lot of spirits, and, the first few times I ever did it, because I was never into spirits. I never liked the taste of them, luckily enough. But the first few times I did it, and so much vomit, so much, I'm surprised why I ever carried on with it. But I think that's the experience of a lot of people. And we have this cultural attitude which tells us it's a good thing. It's the mark of being a man when you can overcome these things. It's the mark of being stupid because you're not listening to you're not listening to sense. You're not listening to your own body. Your own body is telling you, don't put this shit inside your body. If you were drunk and if you got the same feeling from eating some plant that you got from the worst parts of alcohol, that vomiting and that room spinning around, you'd probably think you were dying. It's a weird one. The whole thing about quitting drinking alcohol is that it's simple enough to stop, right? We talked about this last week, that it's a simple process. It's a simple decision to not put the alcohol into your body anymore. But after that, keeping it out of your body, changing your life so that you don't want to drink anymore, that's tough. It's tough going. It's hard work. There's a certain you have to make a lot of changes happen in order for you to move from the person that you are from that drinker, and to go from that drinker's mind into the person that you want to be. And there's a lot of stuff that you've got to kill off in order to get there. A lot of parts of your old self. I remember listening to a guy years ago, and he was talking about, in order to move forwards in life, you've got to kill the youngster, kill the boy inside of you. As a man, if you want to grow up to be a man, you've got to kill the boy inside of you. You can't let that survive, because it's going to hold you back. You know, I'm not talking about killing the fun part of yourself, but it's to have it in perspective, so that being a man is the first aim. And I'm talking about being a man by being responsible and, being that old-fashioned sort of a guy who is looking after his family, who is going out to work and doing his best. What my dad was. I mean, nowadays it seems to be, I don't know, it seems to be, there doesn't seem to be that same drive in people. I think people are more confused nowadays than anything else. But anyway, it takes a lot of changes to get to where you want to go. If you want to live the life where you're content, live the life where you're happy living, it takes a lot of work. Most of the changes that you've got to make are mental changes. You've got to change some of the frameworks that you're looking at life with. Get rid of the rose-tinted glasses and start looking at life as it really is. Sometimes that's difficult because we've put so many different filters in the way of life. It's like we've photoshopped life to a certain degree. And a lot of that's to do with alcohol. A lot of that's to do with not the alcohol itself, but the idea that you're allowing your life to be manhandled in a certain way, so that you don't have to deal with the complexities of life, with the big negatives in life. But the problem is that when you don't deal with those negatives in life, they tend to grow. That's what repression is all about: repressing feelings, repressing things that you don't want to deal with. But the problem is that when you repress things that you don't want to deal with and you push them down, they get weaker. They make you weaker. You don't get stronger through it. That's a big problem, because a lot of people say, well, yeah, I'll do it in a year's time when I'm stronger. But who's going to make that person stronger? You're the only one that can do that. You're the only one that can push yourself through into that strength, to be that different person. And when you're poisoning yourself and making yourself weaker through that, and pushing down problems and repressing emotions, who's gonna do the work for you? I'm Kevin O'Hara for habitsv2.com. We help people to stop drinking alcohol and to get to that best possible version of themselves. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you again soon. Onwards and upwards.